guys, welcome back to Jeevashastra Abhyasa. I'm your educator Niranjan Hegde. So in the last video we have discussed about the biotechnology and its application in agriculture field and also in the medicine field. So we have halfly completed the application of medicine, of biotechnology. Today we are going to, in this video we are going to, not today, today itself, yeah, of course. So in this video we are going to continue that. Okay, so here the second one begins with that is gene therapy. Gene therapy. Okay, fine. So what is gene therapy? First thing, let's learn what is gene therapy. So it is the simplest. I can define it in the simplest way so that you can understand it. So that is so when a gene is missing in the DNA sequence, when a gene is missing in a DNA sequence, it can cause variety of diseases. It can cause a variety of diseases. Okay, so if that diseases will be identified first, right? So the symptoms will be seen. Okay, then the factor which is responsible for the disease is also identified. So then artificially replacing, or we can say replacing, or we can also switch a new gene in that place. In that place, the gene which is missing will be introduced or inoculated or will be replaced if that gene is defected. So that will be included in it. Okay, fine. So by that we can cure the disease, right? So that particular therapy is known as gene therapy. Okay, so I'll show you, if this is a sequence of the DNA, there will be a lot of sequences will be there. A G T C, A G T C. Just example I'm giving you. A is complemented to T, G is complemented to C, A, right? Then comes the G, then comes again the T, then comes C, then comes A, then comes G, right? Okay, if any of the, let's assume any of these are defected, if C is defected in this sequence, so it can cause a variety of diseases. So I don't know which disease it can cause because it's not necessary for you even. fine, a lot of diseases will be. We are going to discuss even exactly a disease causing one example also, but just I'll tell you this one. So when C is defected, or in some cases if it is missing, if the G is missing in someone, so then the G will be inoculated or C will be replaced, right? Here it is replaced or it is inoculated. So that is what gene therapy refers to. Okay, so now there is an example, a beautiful example has been given in your syllabus, so that we will discuss one by one. So that is the deficiency of ADA or ADA syndrome, we call it as. So that we are going to discuss. Okay, what is ADA deficiency? Let's learn it. So before that, so first attempt it was made in this particular disease, the gene therapy, in 1990. 4-year-old girl was treated with the gene therapy. The first gene therapy attempt was made on a 4-year-old girl on 1990, who's having the ADA deficiency. What is ADA deficiency? Adenosine diaminase. Adenosine diaminase deficiency it is known as. So you can write it out. Adenosine diaminase deficiency disease. So what is this disease, and also how it is how the girl is treated. That's all the methods of treating it we will learn. Okay. Now first thing, what the symptoms are. Okay, first let's discuss about the symptoms of ADA, that is adenosine diaminase deficiency. The first one is pneumonia, and the second one is diarrhea, and the third one is skin rashes all over the place. Okay, so in what age, what age individuals this happens? This happens in the young born individuals. This particular ADA deficiency takes place. Then you know that now how ADA deficiency takes place, because the adenosine will be out from the sequence, right? So okay, let's next we will discuss particularly the major thing, that is how this can be treated. Okay, and what are the attempts that made it treated. So what are the different methods before gene therapy? First we will discuss that. The first thing that is made was the enzyme replacement therapy. Okay, the first one was enzyme replacement therapy. So what was happening in this enzyme replacement therapy? That is mainly the whole ADA enzyme. The ADA enzyme so will be transferred into the individuals. Through the injection method. Through injections, which was not permanent. So whenever the enzyme comes to an end, or when enzymes get destroyed in the body, so we have to again go for the physician, and we have to change again the ADA enzymes, has to be inoculated again into the body. So this is the first attempt what has been made to cure the ADA. Okay, without gene therapy. But when they first tried the gene therapy, how they tried the gene therapy? They took the lymphocyte cells from the individual who is having the ADA deficiency, and introduced the sequence which was producing the ADA enzyme, right? So that is the sequence was named as ADACDNA. Okay, ADACDNA. Okay, so this particular sequence was introduced into the lymphocytes of the affected individuals. Okay, through injection method here. As you all know that lymphocytes. Now what happened is, so then the individual started the disease started curing, but at one point of time you can think that lymphocytes are not a permanent cells. Okay, so it is going to get destroyed in one point of time. So with that, this particular enzyme also was getting destroyed. But it was a first step to the gene therapy. Now what had happened? That is very important. So now they have gone into a next step. That is they took the active ADNA. They took the active ADA. They took the active ADA gene from the healthy individual. And it has been introduced into the individual who is having the deficiency through the bone marrow, and this has to be done in the early ages of the child. So that is what they did in 1990 with the 4-year-old girl. So this was done to this girl, that is bone marrow transplantation, where ADA enzyme or ADA sequence, the ADA enzyme producing sequence was introduced into this particular child, and this became the permanent cure. This became permanent cure for this deficiency. But remember, always has to be introduced in the early ages. Okay. So this is what the gene therapy is. Now we will move to the next one, that is diagnosis. How biotechnology can be used in diagnosis. The molecular diagnosis. So nowadays it has been easy to diagnose in the medical field because lot of technology has been evolved in after 1990. So mainly as biotechnology came into existence, so this the diagnosis has become very easy, but somehow it is inefficient for a lot of people because it costs high amount. So there are three different varieties of processes are there which makes this diagnosis complete. The first one is a recombinant. So I'll write like this: recombinant DNA technology. Okay. The second one is PCR, and the third one is ELISA. Okay. So recombinant DNA technology, PCR, and ELISA. Enzyme. Next, what about L? What about L? It is enzyme linked immunosorbent assay. What it is? Enzyme linked immunosorbent assay. ELISA means enzyme linked immunosorbent assay. PCR means polymerase chain reaction. rDNA, recombinant DNA technology. So using these three technologies, we can identify the diseases soon enough. So in the early days, only after what? After the symptoms, the pathogens are identified. Now also it is going on. So mostly in India, maximum number of diseases are identified only by the symptoms. Even some doctors, the experienced doctors see the symptoms of even cancer also. So I have seen one of them. Yeah. So but in all over the world, these three are majorly used to identify the symptoms before the individual gets the symptoms. If any individual gets symptoms, so somehow it may lead to the death if it is very rigorous type of the pathogen. Now, okay, fine. So let's learn. So how these are used. So I'll generally talk about it. Firstly, our recombinant DNA technology, you know that if a small sample is also we have it, so we can multiply that sample and we can identify whole gene sequence. So if there is any genetic related changes it is seen, so we can see through this rDNA technology. PCR, so that is one of the part of using rDNA technology. So here also lot of if the body is having a genetical changes, so this particular PCR you use will double it, lot of them, same almost equals to rDNA technology. The last one, ELISA, this is antigen antibody detecting type of test, where we can for example AIDS is tested through this. AIDS, the disease, the virus is HIV. So this HIV is detected through the ELISA. If an individual has a doubt that I have AIDS, he can go and go through this particular test ELISA, and he will if he has, he will directly know he has AIDS, the HIV virus has entered. So antibody antigen test, a small sample of blood can be used for the ELISA. I think I'll put up pictures of this tests ELISA on this in the screen. You can look the diagram. So otherwise you can just Google it, you will get it. Okay. So this is how the diagnosis is made easy through these tests. Okay. So now we are left with the two things, that is one is transgenic animals and another one is ethical issues. Yes, so transgenic animals. What are transgenic animals? First, let's learn what are transgenic animals. The animals, so are the animals which are the animals which are genetically modified, okay, genetically modified, and which expresses the characters which we human or which has been introduced in cell, expresses the required character, like the clone Dolly, the sheep, the first clone Dolly. These are the animals which will behave as we required when we introduce the genes into it. For example, lab rats, right? So those are going to behave when different types of we use it for different types of experiments, right? Okay, fine. Now there are 5 different types of uses are there under transgenic animals. The first one is normal physiology and development. To check the normal physiology of an individual, to diagnose the normal individual physiology, the biotechnology is or the transgenic animals, the biotechnologically developed transgenic animals are used mainly in the treating a patient with insulin. For example, insulin, some proteins. So nowadays you use protein diets. That all may be done with this. So different varieties of protein comes with that. So for that reason, the transgenic animals are used for the production of different kinds of enzymes, proteins, some of the lipids. So will be produced by the different types of transgenic animals, mainly the bacteria, microorganisms, and most probably it is kept until the rats itself, lab rats. Some vaccines will be produced, some of the hormones will be produced. So that is through the transgenic animals. Next comes the study of disease. As you all know that using different kinds of enzymes retrieved from the different types of organisms, mainly the disease can be studied. So most probably these 3 are the diseases which has been studied: the cystic fibrosis, Alzheimer, and rheumatoid arthritis mainly. So nowadays we have cure for this also. And one thing I want to tell you, I have worked under a scientist who has renownedly worked in the cystic fibrosis. Okay, so I don't want to reveal his name. I didn't ask him that I am going to mention his name in this video. So cystic fibrosis, which was the ears syndrome, and I have worked under him for 1 year. And I have learned about the cystic fibrosis, what it is and how it causes different varieties of disabilities in individuals, how it affects the whole body, all those things. I have seen it, I have experienced it with this knowledge and all those things. Okay, let's move on to the topic now. So the biological products. So the transgenic animals, I have mentioned an example, that is Rosie. It is the first transgenic cow which is produced a complete milk, we can say complete milk, which was rich with the protein, the albuminous, rich with albuminous. So that thing was produced by biological transgenic animal, that is Rosie, the first cow. And also the insulin production through the bacteria E. coli, and a lot of enzymes are there. You can just Google it, you will get it. Okay, so the only examples in your NCERT is given Rosie. Okay, Rosie. Then comes vaccine safety. So lot of different vaccines are first tried over the this particular lab rats, mainly the animals. Okay, the vaccines, and also lot of vaccines will be taken from or will be generated from that particular organisms also, mainly E. coli fills that part, lot of it will fill up a lot of part in the production of vaccine. So that is what vaccine safety, when it comes to safety before using into the human being. Then chemical safety testing, lot of chemicals will be introduced into the every day. There will be a lot of chemicals are introduced in our day-to-day life. All of them has to pass through the testing, safety testing, where transgenic animals are used, because these are the animals which is used for the biotechnological study. So all the chemicals safety, if it is harmful to human being or not. So since lab rats genome sequence almost matches with the 70 to 85%, it matches with the human being, so it will be tested on that. So mostly everything comes right, so that's why every vaccine and chemicals are tested on that. So that how the transgenic animals plays a wonderful role in our human beings life, and they will support all these things continuously. And there is a certain thing that is known as ethics, right? So we have to follow some ethics. We should not have to harm any of the individual. So ethical issues. So last part of the topic, and we are going to discuss here. So in this one, we are going to mainly discuss about these two and what is ethical issue. So GEAC, that is genetical engineering approval committee, which regulates whole genetically engineered organisms. And biopiracy, that is copyright, we can say. You know that what is copyright. Okay, we will discuss. Okay, ethical issues. What are ethical issues? So firstly, we have to follow some ethics in the biotechnology. That is, we have to create such type of organisms or such type of enzymes through the genetically modified organisms, which should not harm the individual, on which it has been tested, and the individual from which it has been created, and also the human individuals. So there comes the ethical issues. There are a lot of examples are there, so which is not been approved. So there is a golden rice which is not been approved. So it is a genetically modified rice. So which would have provided whole the proteinaceous food for a lot of people. So mainly in the malnutrition countries like probably India, we cannot now count, but there is a certain set of area where we can see malnutrition, but most of the countries in the African countries suffer from this. So that has been rejected because it has been causing a very different type of genetical modifications in the human beings, or it has affected the physiology of the human beings. So that genetical engineering approval committee did not approve it, right? Yeah, because of the ethical issues which may harm the human race. So there are a lot of examples are there which is not been approved by the committee, and that we have to follow. That is the main ethics what we have to keep it when we are trying to find out the genetically modified organisms. Okay, from that also the enzymes, hormones, what we get from that has to be a very genuine. It has to match with the human genome sequences. Then biopiracy. There are a lot of committees are there to maintain this. The biopiracy is, that means a lot of GMOs are produced, and it is approved by the genetical engineering approval committee. So biopiracy is a thing where it will keep the copyright agreements. So if you have prepared a GMO, and you will take the credit of it, and it will be remain forever. So no one cannot copy it. So that means if they want to copy it, they have to take legal permission from you people. That is what biopiracy states here. So it is regulated by a lot of different committees are there for to regulate, and this ethical issue has is the thing which is hindering the biotechnological growth also, because lot of lot of GMOs have been stopped, and it has not been given approval because of the threat to the human race. And also in some of them might not be the case, so it might be proved well and good for human individuals. Yes, so this completes the chapter, that is biotechnology and its application. So if you have watched till here, so just click a like for the the effort we put in. Just put a like and share it with your friends, so that they can give away the good knowledge to them. And yeah, so that's all. And in the end there will be a suggestion of video, and if you like the whole thing, just that's not so important also, just this is the YouTubers what we say, subscribe, subscribe. So if you want to, there is no you can go slowly and watch the videos, just watch the videos. Yes, so finally the thing we say, that is let's grow together. Jai Hind.